Alright, since the ESPN documentary on Netflix, The Last Dance, came out, people haven't stopped talking about anything other than the success of Michael Jordan with his teammates Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. But what has not been talked about is the reason for his separation from his first wife, Juanita Vanoy, and you cannot miss this video on all the secrets that were not told about Juanita and her decision to end a 17-year marriage to the basketball star. Also, on a completely different note, what is wrong with Michael's eyes these days? Hit the bell and the subscription button and stay with me till the end to find out all of the answers. Back in 1985, after a Chicago Bulls game in a restaurant, Michael was introduced to Juanita, a loan officer trying to get her associate degree. The mutual friend of both presented them thinking that they would make a perfect couple, and who could imagine how this game would end? Well, he who plays Cupid always does it with the best intentions, don't you think? In his autobiography, Jordan wrote that he admired how Juanita had expected him to notice her instead of approaching him as he had become used to during those times. Less than 2 years later, at a New Year's celebration in 1987, Michael proposed to Juanita in an elegant restaurant in Chicago, and she accepted without any hesitation. They were like two lovebirds holding hands. In November of 1998, their first son, Jeffrey Jordan, was born, but Michael did not think it was his. Juanita quickly took matters in hand and spoke with her lawyer, so Michael had no choice but to acknowledge his paternity months later. Finally, in 1989, 1 year after Jeffrey's birth, in a chapel in the city of Las Vegas, Michael and Juanita finally wed, and according to the Washington Post, Michael said, "I'm happy. It was a big move. Getting married, it helped me mature." In 1990, Marcus, his second child, was born, and in 1992, Jasmine came into the world. Despite all of her husband's fortunes, Juanita wanted her children to know how their mother had lived. When both Jeffrey and Marcus decided to start playing basketball, their coach wanted them to wear the shirt with the number 23, a heavy number to burden because it was the same one worn by the legendary player and father of the children. Juanita's answer to that was that she thought it was important for her children to learn to try and not be like their father. Wise advice from their mother, right? Everything seemed to be going great until in 2002, People magazine announced that Juanita Vanoy had filed for divorce, and apparently for irreconcilable differences. Although according to the Washington Post, Michael was already spending little time at home, what do you think the problem was? And why was it irreconcilable? They tried to get back together, and 1 month later, Juanita withdrew the divorce petition. Back then, the basketball star had a fortune valued at $398 million. They kept trying, but anyways, after doing that for 4 years, the couple finally broke up in December of 2006. The couple's attorney said that Michael and Juanita mutually and amicably decided to end their 17-year marriage. Could the reason be the same irreconcilable differences? And now, the million-dollar question. Do you know how much money Donna Juanita received for the separation of the couple? According to the Chicago Business, after signing the divorce settlement, she received $168 million. Furthermore, according to the Chicago Tribune, Juanita also received a 740 square meter apartment that she sold herself in 2014 for $3,200,000. And the following year, in 2007, a mansion was purchased for $4,725,000. Leaving business and money aside for a moment, the couple's friends, although very surprised by the separation, said that they still spoke normally and without problems, and that in fact, when Juanita couldn't get the stereo to work, he's the first person she called. Did you know about these skills of the basketball player, y'all? Although, back in 2013, Juanita told Chicago Business that her conversations with Michael were largely about her children and that the divorce was something new to her. You know, she had to learn to communicate with her ex-partner despite the situation, and she said it's not about the couple and it's about making sure their children are doing well. Mrs. Juanita, you have all my respect. But hey, so far everything's pretty good. Better to go back to the irreconcilable differences because Michael and Juanita may have been on good terms, but no one ever said why they ended. The Chicago Tribune newspaper commented that a private investigator named Ernie Rizzo had investigated the idol and seen him with at least half a dozen women between 1992 and 2002. However, Juanita Vanoy never went out to defend or criticize the player. What do you think about this? Was she okay with it? Or simply did not want to get involved with the media? By the way, Ernie Rizzo had been the same one who helped Juanita when Michael did not want to acknowledge the paternity of her first son Jeffrey. Also, Ernie, the private investigator, seemed to have a lot of work, being hired by several of the wives of Michael's teammates, the Chicago Bulls. Many people ignored Michael's screw-ups because he was in charge of spending good money under the table, so that many turned a blind eye. And on one occasion, he paid $5 million to Carla Knaffel, one of his lovers, not to speak up. But this does not end there because Michael's addiction to ladies was not the only problem. Once, the basketball star had to post bail to a man who convicted of trafficking white powder. You know what I'm talking about, right? On that occasion, Michael paid $108,000. And this doesn't compare to the bets he lost and never paid, playing golf or gambling money with Richard Esquinas. The man still continues to claim his share. Actually, he even wrote a book about it. So what do you think was the real cause of the split? The problem with women, the gambling addiction, or maybe that white powder addiction? As if all this wasn't enough, Jordan was so fond of the game that he was seen playing also and was losing a lot of money in Atlantic City one night before a playoff game against the Knicks. So despite all the success he had on the basketball court, off the field, Michael's life didn't seem to be doing so well. In 2007, already separated, he was walking through nightclubs when he met Yvette Prieto, a Cuban model who grew up in Miami, and soon they started dating, and by 2009 they moved in together. In 2011, Michael asked her to marry him, and he finally got the definitive yes for the second time in 2013 at the Bethesda Church in front of the sea. The celebration cost $10 million, which is too much money for any of us, but not to Mr. Jordan, it was probably nothing. And by the way, Juanita was asked what she thought of Michael's second wife, to which she replied laughing that she did not remember that he had told her what was going on. I mean, it would be weird if he had invited her to the wedding, although she did expect the invitation. And in February of 2014, Michael and Yvette welcomed their two twin daughters into the world, Isabel and Victoria. Now, yes, we come to the topic that many were waiting for, Michael's health. After the documentary came out on Netflix, many fans were able to observe the yellowish tone in his eyes of their idol and immediately began to worry. I clarify, I am not Dr. Nick, so all you Simpsons fans out there know what I'm talking about. But the yellowish appearance in the eyes could indicate a health problem related to the liver or genetic disorder. Although in the past Michael spent his time training and having a balanced diet, today he has other types of habits, and his passion for drinking and cigarettes could be a little bit stronger. In an interview for a cigar magazine, the former player said the following: "I'm stepping away from that public image, from that other self that's been around for so many years. These are the things that I enjoy. These are the passions that help me get from point A to point B, the relaxation that I get from it." What do you guys think? Do you think you would have the same life if you were a star like him? Write your answers right now in the comments because I'm very curious to know what you think. Michael also added that at some point you have to take your life back from the public to enjoy it. And I'm at that stage where I'm now taking my life back from the public and doing the things that I enjoy doing. Like motorcycle riding, which I couldn't do because I had this situation with my contracts and my commitments to the game, but I grew up riding a motorcycle and now I'm doing more of the things I like, and I'm enjoying myself. Another thing he does that he enjoys and helps him relax is smoking cigarettes and drinking. Now back to concerns of his health. The former NBA star never said that he had any health problems, and as far as it's known, he's still a healthy 57-year-old man who wants to live life like others. Also, many don't want to get involved with cigarettes and the drinking part, But, well, I guess it's his life and his rules, right? So what do you think? Do you think about the life that he has led so far? Well, let's talk about all of that in the comments, and remember to please like and share and become part of our Curious Sips family by subscribing to our channel. And also, don't forget about our Instagram account. Until next time.